Dreaming should be life. That's it. Down. What's going on, family? Good afternoon. Happy Friday to you. Oh man, y'all know it's that time again. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hope everybody's feeling good, man. Welcome to the show. Give ourselves a few minutes. Let's go ahead and get in here. Miss Hawkins says, "Hey everyone." Well, hello, Miss Hawkins from everybody. Um, yeah, yes, sir, yes, sir. What's that say? Carla Wright says he got questions. Oh, he got questions. That's what I'm talking about. We'll get them ready because we gon' we gonna have fun. Matter of fact, let me try to. I might try to get artistic today because somebody asked a question and I didn't quite get a chance to look at it during the last session. I think I misunderstood. I was rushing and nervous and trying to read the comments and look into the camera and make sure that everything is right and messed up on some things, man. So see, it's approximately 6 o'clock. It's PM. So let's go ahead and get things started. So first of all, man, family, how y'all doing this evening, man? So glad that you are here, sharing this time with your favorite uncle cousin, man. I'm doing my best to be here live every Friday as we are self-quarantining ourselves, as we are doing the top three priorities, which is staying home, staying safe, and staying healthy. So just in the midst of all this going on, just want to come here live every Friday for now at 6 p.m. just to, you know, kind of give ourselves some consistency, give myself some accountability. Accountability. I cannot talk for nothing today. Accountability. That's what I was trying to say here. And just be here for us, for our community, for the self-employment community, for the small business, because there's a lot of things going on, a lot of questions out there, a lot of things happening. Like I said, things are changing daily, happening daily. So a lot to talk about. So I know we here to ask questions, man. I see the comments coming in. Please bring them on in. The more the better. That's because I hate the sound of cricket, so I'm glad everybody's here. um Let's see. Let's see. Yes. Let's see. I see who else just joined us. B. Alexandria. Okay, I like how they spell that. Greetings to you, right? Van Hennessy says, "How we doing?" Well, we doing fine over here, Mr. Henry. Appreciate you asking. Um, Peachy Dixon, hey, all staying safe, all healthy for sure. Indeed. Make sure you stay healthy and safe. Uh, Hurricane Customs, hello to you. Welcome to the show. Um, Let's see, Miss Caroline Wright or Carly Wright wants to know, what are we discussing today? Great question. A lot of things discussing today. Whatever is asked, obviously. First of all, this is the Ask Me Anything session 2, Freestyle Fridays. Like I said, we can come up with everything. And speaking of, man, I got a great suggestion for finally trying to come up with a name for Thursdays, but there may be some legalities around it, so I'm trying to wait and see. But here to do that, so real quick, while everybody's leaving a comment, I mean, I know 6 p.m. is late, but I mean, do we want it earlier? Maybe if that's more convenient for people, please let me know. I'm here to serve you. This is not nothing for me. I'm not getting additional subscribers from this, not getting anything from YouTube. I'm just doing this strictly for y'all. So, I mean, if this is an inconvenient time for you, please let me know. Whether we want to hop on maybe a Saturday morning live, or you want to go earlier during the week, maybe 9, 10 a.m. as opposed to the evening hours. I mean, let me know if this works for you. If not, I'm open to all suggestions again, because this is for you. So let's go ahead and get started again. So one of the things I'm gonna talk about tonight is me taking my time and slowing down. I've confessed this, and I'm gonna confess it again. Getting behind this camera is like a hard thing for me to do. I get nervous. As y'all can see, I play with my hands a lot. I'm moving. Um, my words kind of get slurred. So I'm trying to get used to being behind this camera just so I can deliver more content. But I realized last week when I went back and reviewed the last live session, man, I kind of messed up some questions. I kind of looked at what people were asking versus what I was responding to, and I was like, "Oh, I screwed that all up," because I was trying to hurry up and read the comment and then look at the camera and answer the question. My mind was racing, and I didn't quite understand it. So forgive me for last week if it didn't make sense what I was saying, or if I didn't answer your question in the proper way. So tonight, I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna go through and make sure I read and understand the comment. Then I'm gonna do my best to reply. Speaking of, there was a comment last week that was asking about Marcus Limones from The Prophet. I'm not for sure if you guys are familiar with that show. It's about a gentleman. He comes in and he rescues businesses that are failing, but he does it out of his own pocket. And I do believe I can't. The gentleman name was WTHA, who asked a comment. Watha, I'm hoping it's pronounced that way, but he was asking for individual like Marcus who comes in and pretty much partners with the businesses that he saves, right? I mean, if he's going to come out the pocket, $500,000, $1 million+ he's going to expect to receive some benefit from it. And most of the time, the benefit that he expects from it is the fact that he either at some point becomes like partner, but he has 51 shares, so he's the controlling partner for that business. And the question that Walter asked was like, well, what kind of business structure would be best for Marcus? And as I was reviewing the question, I was like, okay, now I understood, got it. But that's kind of a difficult question to ask because a lot of these TV shows, there's a lot of things happening in the background that we don't know. So I really can't say what's the best business structure for Marcus as far as in reality go, but I can speculate. So let's just assume that Marcus was an individual like us, right? He was just starting the business. He wanted to go around helping business. I would suggest, or at least in my opinion, Marcus would have a holding company here at the top, and then he would have like a hierarchy of sub companies up under it. So the holding company would be just that. It is the holding company. It holds all the assets, it holds all the capital. The holding company does not do business at all. The holding company has no type of transactions. All of these transactions are happening at the sub level. So again, if I was Marcus, I would have a holding company. And again, depending on how he wants to accumulate capital, he could either be a C corp, structured a C corp, so he can sell shares of stock and do things of that way. I don't like C corps, and that's a different scenario conversation. But I would probably set up an LLC taxed as an S corp. Again, have that being the holding company, and then have multiple subsidiaries under it. Each subsidiary doing a different function. For sure, because I'm dealing with multiple companies doing multiple investments. One of those subsidiaries would be strictly the accounting side of the business. That all of the information would be done on one of the subsidiaries. Another one would be a management subsidiary that is handling all of these other little subsidiaries happening. Because when you have holding companies, you can go like levels deep, right? You can go as deep as you want to manage it. So of course I would have a management company managing all the multiple little subsidiaries. And then from there, it would just be those individual businesses that I acquired through partnership, and then have all of that flow upward, right? All of that would flow up to the one uh, uh, holding company, and I would issue myself payroll check from there and do my taxes out of the holding company. That is the only thing that the holding company would do. And again, I wish I could share my screen. I'm looking now for some software that would allow me to share my screen, and I could have better illustrated that. So that's hopefully what the answered your question for that, man. Very, very much appreciate you asking that. So, second things, I see the comments coming in, man. Appreciate everybody who's here. Um, let's see here. My man CXK is in the building. I appreciate you being here. Definitely. Um, Mr. What is that? Vataz 777. Can I shed light on the rumor that Congress added 25 million bonus for themselves among this coronavirus stuff? Well, we are going to talk about that. That's probably one of the main things I want to talk about is the stimulus package that just got signed today by the president. So we're going to talk about that. Uh, oh, there's Walter again. He asked the question: how does market the profit structure the businesses? Hopefully, I answered that for you out there, man. If not, please, post a clarifying question. If it's something I missed, let me know in the comments. Unique View says hello to everybody. Ms. Dixon, Lord Dixon, hello. Mommy eating well. Yeah, let's talk about this package. We about to do that. It's coming. Let's see here. Unique View, Thoughtful Thursday. That's kind of along the line of one of the suggestions I got is the really thoughtful Thursdays, and I definitely like that. Mr. McGricken 64 said it's 9 p.m. here. Well, again, if this time is too late for everybody, by all means, let me know. I'm self-employed. I have nothing but time. Let me know. I can come in earlier. We can come in later. Whatever I got to do to help y'all out, we'll make it happen. And then, so let's see, Mr. Caroline Wright says recently went through LegalZoom. Okay. So we got that. Unique Educator Squad says hello all. All right. Well, let's go ahead and kind of talk about this package. The Corona, it's not the Corona, it's called the CARE package. And I'm gonna pull up here on my other screen because the actual name of it's an amendment, right? A new bill. Okay, and it's called the CARES Relief, CARES Act. And the CARES stands for Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Securities Act. That's what it's called. Was signed into law today by the president. And it is approximately, as I'm looking at it, it's about 854 pages long. And even though we are self-quarantining ourselves and there's a lot of things to do, a lot of time on our hands, I did not read all 854 pages of this bill just yet. So what I wanted to talk about is pretty much some of the highlights of the bill, some of the things that I think that we may be able to take advantage of, things that we may be able to see. And but the most important thing, which is I know what's on everybody's mind, is them checks, right? Them checks. The one, are we gonna get some money? Well, I'm asking the question. The answer is yes, according to this bill. As a matter of fact, it is. If you print out the bill, if you're that type that like to read it, it starts on page 140, and it's under what is this? Title 2, right? Which is titled Assistance for American Workers, Families, and Business. So it's Title 2, Subtitle B, Section 2201, which is the recovery for individuals. So let me go here and go. Give me a second. And what it talks about, really, what the breakdown of it is that in summary, this is how this is going to work. Each individual is going to get $1,200 per individual, and then an additional $500 per child. But I'm sure you guys already know that, so nothing really to tell you additional here. So how it's going to work? Okay, this is a advanced credit towards your 2020 tax return that you're going to file next year. Okay. So they're limiting it to the income range. So as long as your income and the way you want to identify this, so it's going to be based off there's two criteria, possibly your 2018 tax return, but only if you have not yet filed your 2019 tax return. Okay. So keep in mind that our 2019 tax return, the deadline to file and pay has been extended to July 15th, 2020. So we still have time to file the 2019 return. But let me put this out there. If you haven't filed 2019 yet and it's based on your 2018 tax return and your 2018 tax return doesn't have the numbers you would like for it to have, I implore you to go ahead and file your 2019 and hopefully it will have the numbers. So again, $1,200 per adult. Okay. So if you are single or you file head of household or you file married filing separately, the filing statuses at this point don't matter. But if you look on the header of your tax return, if there's one individual on that return, you're only going to receive one check for $1,200. Okay. Now, if there's children involved, you'll receive an amount of $500 per child that's on the tax return. Okay. And in order for the child to qualify for the $500, they have to qualify for the child tax credit as well, which means the child must be age 16 and under. Okay, they cannot be 17. If they turn 17 January 1st, 2019, and you already filed your tax return for 2019, you will not get credit for that dependent. So, and let me make sure I kind of say that again. So, for example, if the child turned 17 on January 1st, 2019, and you've already filed your 2019 taxes, unfortunately, you will not get credit for that dependent because on your 2019 taxes, it's going to show that dependent as being 17 and older, and therefore they would not qualify for that additional $500, unfortunately. However, if you have not filed your 2019 taxes yet, and on your 2018 return, that individual was listed as being 16 and under, I am thinking that if they base it on that, you should, and don't quote me, this was just signed into law today, and there's already a million questions because certain things haven't been clarified. So we're waiting on guidance from the IRS. But if they're basing it on 2018, and in 2018, he wasn't 16, you may, again, I'm saying may, because they might do math and be like, well, he's 17 now. So I don't know. They might. But again, if it's based on 2018, you may get that additional $500. Again, I'm saying may, don't hold me to it because it's that detailed information is not clearly listed in this bill here. Okay. So those are the amounts. If there is a married couple on the return, if you file married filing joint, you're going to get 2,400, right? It's still 1,200 per individual. You just get 1,200 for the one husband is the married couple. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So $1,200 each. And if there's children under the age of 17 or 16 and under on that joint return, you will still get $500 per child listed on the tax return. And there is no limit on the number of children that you can get $500 for. If you claim them on your tax return and they qualified for the child tax credit on their tax return, then you can get additional children. So you can have, 10 children listed on a tax return and get $500 for each child that's under, the age 17. So there is no restrictions on that. But that's pretty much how the numbers, as far as the amount received, that's the amount that we can expect to receive. Now, of course, as with anything in tax law, there are thresholds, amounts that, once you go over that amount, the credit starts to get reduced down to zero. And those thresholds it is, first of all, it's going to be based on your adjusted gross income. As I previously read somewhere, maybe it was just in my mind, I previously thought it was going to be based on taxable income, but no, it is going to be based on your adjusted gross income. and that's the AGI. And I think on the 2018 tax return, it was on the second page, right? So if you haven't filed 2019 yet and you're using 2018 tax return, you'll look at the amount that's on the second page of the 1040, and you'll look for it says adjusted gross income. If you look on your 2019 tax return, it's going to be all on one page, and I think it's line 8 that you'll see adjusted gross income for. And that amount, okay, for a single, married filing joint, head of household, and qualifying widower, that amount is going to be 75 to see a reduced check. And I do believe the math is for every $100 over 75,000 is going to reduce it by $5. So I think if you're single, this is for single individuals, um, it will completely phase out if your adjusted gross income is at above 99,000. So let's say at 99,000 and above, you can't expect to receive anything. Okay. For individuals who are filing head of household, that adjusted gross income amount is 112,000 and I'm sorry, 112 500,000. Okay. So 112 comma 500, that's the amount for individuals who are filing head of household. Once it starts to go over that, you'll start to see it increase $100 for every $5. I'm sorry, decrease $5 for every $100 you're over that amount. And in the case of a joint return, that threshold amount is $150,000. So as long as your AGI, if you are married filing joint and your AGI is under 150,000, you can expect to receive the full benefit. If you are filing head of household and your AGI is under 500,000, right? Yeah, I think I said that right. If not, correct me. You can expect to receive the full refund. And in the case if you are single and your AGI is under 75,000, then you can expect to receive the full stimulus packet. Now, when are we going to receive them? They're still up in the air. This bill was literally just signed today. So now that it's been signed, I'm pretty sure they're going to go to work, making all necessary preparations to get it to you. From my understanding, the disbursement is going to be through direct deposit. So I'm assuming they're going to get the information from your last filed um, check statement. But then again, I've also heard that they're going to be mailing it to you. So please double check your tax returns. Make sure that if they're planning on doing direct deposit, make sure that the correct direct deposit information has been listed. If they're going to be doing mailing the checks out, please make sure that their most current address is there. If you don't have your most current address, please go online. I do believe you can file a form with the IRS to submit a change of address, but seeing that they've kind of cut their workforce down, not sure if they're going to process that in time. But again, that's one of those questions that is being asked that we do not have an answer to just yet, as far as the address goes. But outside of that, do know that relief is on its way. Okay. Another thing that I want to mention and kind of be mindful of when it comes to the stimulus is the fact we don't know as of yet how this is going to affect taxes next year. Meaning that if this is an advanced credit towards your estimated credits next year, we're not sure if it's going to come back and haunt you next year, maybe. Meaning that if you file, so let's say, for example, you received right? You filed a married filing joint return, no dependents on the return, but you filed 2,400. I mean, you filed and got a $2,400 check. The next year, when you file your taxes, is that 2,400 going to be an offset against potential credits that you may receive next year? Or is it going to be a situation kind of like with the healthcare premium payment. If you received it because your income was estimated to be X amount of dollars, which is a low amount, and that's why they gave you the premium tax credit. But then when you file your taxes and that amount that you listed was greater, and they say, hey, you made too much, you shouldn't have received that credit. So now we're going to add it back to your tax return and you're going to have to pay it back to us. We don't know if it's going to be one of those kind of situations. So keep your ears open, keep your eyes peeled. As I find out more, I'll let you know. But I'm saying, yes, relief is coming, but do keep in mind we may see something about this relief on our taxes when we file next year. So, any questions regarding that? So let me kind of go back up. Um, go way back up and kind of get to some of these questions here, man. See a lot of questions, man. Hey to everybody who just really came in. Appreciate you. Let's see here. Gloria, she says, any check for retirees? Yes, I have read. Now, it didn't give me an amount. Again, 854 pages. I'm only at 141 right now, just kind of dealing with this whole stimulus packet. But there is, if you are getting Social Security, you are definitely going to get something. If you are receiving any kind of like retirement pension, uh, any kind of thing like that, then you, as long as you filed a tax return and you were under those thresholds, you will receive an amount. So that we pretty much don't have to uh, uh, worry about. Let's see. Antonio Turner, does child support take your stimulus? No, great question. From what I've heard and from what I've read thus far, this any offsets, any balance dues, or anything like that, even if you file your taxes now and you owe or something like that, it is will have no bearing on that. This is something completely separate. It's coming to you directly without any kind of interruptions. So we don't have to worry about that. Thank God, man. So good question, man. Appreciate you asking. And yeah, the other thing about this whole stimulus packet, it does apply for those of us who have been let go by our employers due to this COVID-19. They've put things in place where you can now apply for unemployment. So if you have been laid off by your employer as a result of this, make sure you go apply for unemployment, as they are offering unemployment benefits. As a matter of fact, I do believe I read somewhere in here that it is going to be the equivalent to the amount of your regular pay. Okay, so I know sometimes unemployment benefits are a little less than what we normally used to getting, but from my understanding, if you've been laid off due to this COVID-19 and you apply for unemployment, they are going to match what you've been getting, or should I say, for your last job currently. So make sure that you do that and get things situated that way. Let's see what else here I've read and heard about. Um, let's see here. What else has been new? Well, for businesses, they've extended. I'm not sure if you guys would even benefit from this, but the net operating loss. Remember when the Tax Cuts and Job Act came out, they stopped the carry back period and you can only carry it forward. Well, now they've kind of loosened the restrictions on that. So if you have a net operating loss, you can actually carry it back 5 years and kind of recoup any refund. Like if you paid taxes that year, or you can have that NOL go back, reduce the taxes paid, get a refund from that away. So they've actually loosed that. Few things happening in here for employers. If you have employees, you can get credit for up to $10,000 per employee. If you have employees that you pay dollar for dollar credit there, like I said, up to 10,000. Lots of loans being issued out. I mean, there's a lot of money. I do believe there were like maybe Trump said $6.2 trillion worth of economic relief being added into this bill. So enough to get us by. Still don't know how long we're going to be quarantined. Don't know how long everything is going to happen, but it is definitely some relief to help us, get through. Because of course, one thing that don't stop, no matter whether you get laid off or not, the one thing that don't stop coming is the bills, right? That's why the mailman will continue to have a job because somebody got to deliver them bills. So hopefully this stimulus right here is going to help out a little bit. 1,200 bucks, even if for a single person, man, that can definitely help relieve it if we be smart about our money, stretch our dollars right, make them last a little longer, and we'll be good from there. Okay. Let's see. Tony says, will you get the check if you file taxes for 2017? No, no. I know you said tax, but I'm assuming you meant to say taxes. But it has to be 2018, 2019. So if you have not filed, please do so. Okay. I'll make sure I put a link in the comments here. If you need help filing, your favorite uncle cousin can always help you out. Right. If you're watching this video, that means that we have a way to get your taxes done. Right. Ooh, the mic just picked up all that gurgling noise. All right. So hopefully that answered questions, man. Again, I just really wanted to talk about the package, the limits, how we expect to get it, some other provisions that were really happening right there. There was something that I missed. By all means, please let me know in the comments here, and I'm gonna go ahead and kind of read through it and make sure I didn't miss anything here. Let's see here. I recently went through. All right, so now let's go ahead and do some freestyling, answer some questions. Man, I hope y'all are doing well out there. So let's see. Carly Wright. Am I pronouncing that right, man? Correct me if I'm wrong. Put like a sad face emoji or something in the note there if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. But Miss Wright says, I recently went through LegalZoom trademarking my logo. Okay. Do you believe this was the right move? Also, I have words inside of my logo. Is it necessary to trademark the quote also? Hashtag hot topic. All right. That is a hot topic. And I'm glad, Cardi, that you actually brought that up, talking about trademarking your logo. So when it comes to building a genuine business, now I've personally identified four types of business owners, and we ain't gonna really get into it here, but there's the ones who are self-employed on accident. There are the ones who are self-employed because they just want to create some temporary additional income so they don't necessarily worry about the longevity of the business. There are those who are self-employed. I call them selfishly self-employed because they're not necessarily worried about themselves. They're not necessarily worried about what happens after them. They're necessarily, okay, this is paying my bills right now. That's all I'm worried about. And then we have the self-employed individual that I love, the one who is serious about their business, the one who genuinely wants to do things to benefit the community. They want this business to go on well beyond their lifetime. So they do things the right way. And what Carly Wright is saying is very important for that fourth self-employed individual: trademarking. When it comes to establishing a business, one of the things that we often leave out of our business plan or our business startup phase is the trademark. It's extremely important to have a trademark in your business. So to answer the question, do I believe it was the right move? Yes, especially if you are trying to uh, create that brand recognition because you're getting ready to put it out there, you're getting ready to market it, you're getting ready to put it in the face of your clients and your customer base, and they're going to see it, they want to recognize it. You don't know why you don't want anybody to infringe on all of your hard work and take advantage of it. So of course, trademarking is the best possible thing you can do. And let me set this straight. Forming an LLC, forming a C Corp, doing all that stuff does not protect the name. Okay. I'm just putting that straight for everybody who may have thought forming an LLC, C Corp, S Corp, whatever, does not protect the name. A trademark and copyright is what gives you that protection. Okay. And Just to kind of give a little ease to the minds of people, because of course, trademarking, copywriting, it's not cheap. Okay, there's a process. It takes time. There's a lot of research involved in doing it, which is why a lot of us pay other people to do so, which is what I recommend. You can do it yourself, though. I always give you both sides. You can, if you feel confident enough to do it yourself. You can do it. It is possible to do it yourself, but there's a lot of things involved in trademarking. So I recommend, definitely having somebody to assist you. If you want to do like half DIY, half assistance, by all means do so. Because the more you do yourself, the more you save. I get it. But when it comes to trademarking, that's something you really don't want to play with. The application itself costs a lot of money, and you can submit the application itself. But if something is not right on the application, they reject it, and then there goes your money. You wasted it. So of course you want to get somebody to help you there with that. Um, but she also asked, is it you have words inside of the logo? Is it necessary to trademark the quote as well? I would say get a copyright, because that's two separate things, right? The trademark can be for the logo and the brand itself, but when we dealing with literary work and literature, the copyright is the means for that. So if you have a phrase that is unique to you and nobody else has used it, it won't cause copyright infringement. You can I would suggest maybe getting that copy written as well, so that way nobody else can use that quote, right? That's again, you want to protect yourself. But here's the thing also, you are granted, right? It is given to you automatically. You have trademark and copyright mark the minute that you use your unique brand logo slogan in e-commerce. Okay, what the government considers the commerce trade. So you are automatically trademarked, right? You have that protection the minute that you form a unique logo that's not infringing on nobody else, and you use it in a trademark, meaning you use it to make a sale, you use it to market your brand and business to make sales, you automatically are granted trademark rights. That's off top. The reason we register it with the federal government, the USPTO, is to get that federal government backing, right? It's like in the Avengers. You already Iron Man right there, but with the federal government, you have the Hulk behind you saying, "Yeah, try and use it if you want to." So it's still good to get it registered, but if you can't afford to get it registered, do understand that you still automatically have the trademark protection granted to you the minute that you use like I said, a non-infringing mark, slogan, or phrase in e-commerce. So good question, Miss White. I appreciate you asking that question. It was a hot topic. But Goon, we're good there. If that didn't answer the question again, let me know in the comments and I'll get to it. Let's see here. Somebody said it's 8 p.m. in Austin. Good time, good. So 6 o'clock is sounding good, right? Let's see here. Somebody said, check my, okay, because they got a question about a catering business. Once that goes on top, okay, we got to do that. Yes, Captain Will, 854 pages. The bill is. Did I give y'all the name of the bill? It is called HR 748. If you like, man, I can put a link to the actual Congress where you can go download it as a PDF. But it is called HR 748, or in other words, the CARES Act. You can Google either one of that, HR 748, or Google the CARES Act, and you'll get it. It is 854 pages long because it talks about more than just the it talks about more than just the stimulus, okay? It talks about everything, the bailout for large businesses, the bailout for small businesses. All of that information is contained in that text. But on page 140 is where we're going to find the information related to individuals and the relief that's being offered. So, yes, okay. Says somebody says a lot of pork in the bill. Probably is. Yes, yes. Captain Will, yes. Title 2, Subtitle B, Section 2201. That is correct. Let's see here. Mommy Eating Well says, so if you owe, do they subtract from what you owe the IRS? Again, to my knowledge, no, they do not. This is something completely separate. However, when you file next year, there may be something that you may have to pay back depending on the variance between what you filed in 2019 or 2018 versus what you're going to file next year in 2020. So, for example, I'm not for sure if any one of you experienced this, but like when they did the healthcare, right, the Affordable Care Act, if you got coverage through the marketplace, you would go to the marketplace and be like, hey, I need coverage because it's mandated. However, I can't afford to pay the monthly premium. So you would give them an estimate of what you make. And they say, well, okay, based on this estimate, we can give you a credit of this amount to help you pay the bill. All right. So let's say that happened. You did that, received the credit, and they helped you pay the monthly premium. Then when you filed your taxes and that's an actual number, they're going to compare the actual number filed versus the estimate that you gave. And if the actual number is higher than the estimate, well, they're going to be like, well, you know what? You could afford to have paid that. So we gave you this credit for no reason. Now you owe it back to us. And that's how it works when you do the Affordable Care Act, when you get a 1095A that shows the premium care credit that you receive. I'm assuming, and you know, we know what they say about assuming, yes, but I'm thinking that it may be something similar. So if you get this refundable, because again, it's an investment towards your next year's credit. If you get it and now you may be, let's say you're under 75,000, but next year when you file your taxes, you're a millionaire, you might. I don't know. You know, it doesn't clearly say in that bill. Again, it's brand new, just got signed today. Something that we are going to be seeing a lot of as the days continue. And of course, I'll keep you updated as much as possible and let you know. But that's what I'm thinking is going to happen. So just be mindful. It may not have happened. It may just drop you down to zero. Like, okay, yeah, you got more than you needed. We're not going to ask for it back, but then we're not going to give you any additional credit either. So it may also work like that. So just kind of be mindful. So yes, let's see. Moving on down again, I'm reading these. Keep the comments coming. Says, what happened to the days where families used to get $1,000 per child? Uh, well, uh, they still exist. Well, I don't know. I don't know what days you're talking about. I've only been doing taxes for 13 years, approximately. I know before I did taxes, you know, as a child, there was a lot of things happening under Bush senior administration, Reagan. There was a lot of credits going on that I would have to go back and look in and just do some research on that. But um, as far as I'm understanding, it's always been like an age restriction. I don't know when the 17 age restriction came into play, but even now, it's more than $1,000 per child. You actually get $2,000 per child under the age of 17. So that's a huge benefit. But that recently got enacted under the new Tax Cuts and Job Act, which was signed back in 2017. So yeah, definitely. Be interesting to see what was the child tax credit way back then. So, okay. Let's see here. Educator Squad, I think this is the first installment of maybe four. Possibly, if this thing extends out, they may go back and reissue more. I mean, you know, because $1,200, I'm not gonna say isn't enough, right? But because every little bit helps, I'm good, I'm grateful. But it's not gonna last us all year, right? Let's just be honest, right? $1,200 per person probably is not gonna last us all year. It's probably not even enough for a month, to be honest with you, depending on your financial situation. But if this thing goes longer than we expect to, I believe, right? So let me believe that they like to take care of us, right? So that's why we're getting this right here. So I'm hoping if it does go further, let's see here. Let me go down and scroll down. And then it says, mommy eating as well. Says, trademarking. Yes. Add trademarking to your plan. If you plan to have a business that is going to last beyond you, if it's to have it continue to live, even when you pass away, you definitely want to do things right, set it up right. Um, get it trademarked, get all those protections. We could talk about trusts, putting your business in a trust and having it managed by a fiduciary. There's so many strategies for long-term wealth, right? You want to be, I think Beyonce said that her great great grandkids is already rich. And I'm like, whoo, I'm trying to get on that level, right? But there's ways to go ahead and get that set up, and trademarking is definitely one of those things you want to do. Um, let's see here. Let's go kind of read some more of these here. Uh, so let's see here. Somebody said, gonna ask a question. I'll be doing that here. Let's see. Trademark. Okay, see that. Miss Char, I see you there. No extra cash just for dependents who are not children. Let's say a dependent over 18. Yeah, no. Unfortunately, at this point, there is nothing for any children over the age of 18 or any dependents. Like, unfortunately, if you claim your parents on the tax return because you're taking care of them, at this point, you won't get any credit for them. They had to file a tax return. Although, if they're receiving Social Security, they are expected to receive something. So keep your eyes on that one. Okay. Let's see. To Dorset Wilson, the answer is yes. Like I said, I'll definitely put a link in the email for you so you can get that taken care of. Um, MIB says the CARES Act, HR 748. That's the name. Yes. I heard if you owe child support, you won't get it. Well, I've heard a lot of things, to be honest with you. And I'm going based on what I'm hearing from my trusted resources who are like well ingrained in tax and then up there in Congress and working behind the scenes. I don't think that any kind of thing that you owe will offset your payment right now. Okay. I've also heard that it is directly connected to the census. Like they're telling people you need to fill out the census form online or you won't get your check. This is strictly tied to your tax return. It has nothing to do with the census. Filling out the census won't do anything, won't get you extra, won't get you less. This is, again, strictly tied to the tax return. So just make sure, I'm not saying don't listen to nobody because there's still a lot of good information out there. Listen to it, but do your research, double check. Let's not listen to anything blindly. If you hear it, research it, right? I mean, it's amazing how I see somebody can post something on social media and it becomes law. Like, so and so said it, so that's what I'm doing. That's right. And then it just don't be, and you probably end up messing yourself up. So believe or hear what you hear. Just take your time and do your research on it. Um, let's see here. Let's see. Gold is the market. Let's see. I covered what to invest in. Check it out. Okay, somebody got some investment things. Yesly, if you have some additional funding, get you some investments in. Okay. Um, what about the unemployment payments? Will that be $600 plus whatever you would normally get? How will that affect our taxes? Should we contact the marketplace and ask them about the extra income? As far as unemployment, I do believe that it's just going to be basic unemployment, like no additional bonuses or $600. At least I haven't read that. There is a component in the bill that specifically talks about unemployment and how it's going to be handled. But what I've read thus far, nothing about any additional $600. The most I've read is the fact that it will match what you currently are receiving or what you your last wages paid. So you won't see pretty much a dip in income. So that's what I've read so far. And if you are an employer who has employees that have been affected by this, then you can offer sick pay, you can offer vacation pay, and I do believe they're giving you credit for it. So definitely. Okay. Let's see here. So Scott Woody says the child tax credit goes away when the child turns 17, but then they qualify for the credit for other dependents, which is true, right? The CTC, the child tax credit is 2000 and the other dependent credit is 500. Mr. Woody, you are absolutely correct in that sense, but unfortunately for the stimulus, they still won't get anything if they're over the age of or if they're 17 and above. So, yeah, all right. Cool, cool, cool. So, we talked about, oh my goodness, this time can fly. It's 6:50 already. We got about a few more minutes. We've talked enough about the stimulus pack, man. Do y'all have anything else on your minds? Anything else that we want to talk about? Um, it's Friday. It's financial Friday too, even though we're at home. Hopefully, you guys have dug into your books, right? Every Friday, you should make a goal to go into your books. If you have a bookkeeping system, whether that be digital, whether you use QuickBooks, whether you use Zero software, whether you use any other kind of accounting software, hopefully you set time aside every Friday, at least an hour or two. If you don't, put Financial Fridays on your calendars, set aside at least 2 hours in the beginning until you get used to the process. Make sure you go in there and you reconcile your checkbook. Make sure you go in there and look for outstanding invoices. Make sure you go in there and look at your reports, look at your P&L, look at your cash flow statement, look at your income statement, see how healthy, financially healthy your business is doing. Start thinking about what you need to do now that you've looked at your books, now that you've seen your cash flow, you've seen your profit and loss statement. You can be like, okay, what do I need to do now to make sure that I'm good going forward? Because that's the whole point, right, of looking at your finances every Friday, is so that you're not blindsided by anything. The fact that you can be ahead of the game, you can make moves, you can do what needs to be done for your business to ensure its longevity. That's the whole point of doing Financial Fridays. I just finished doing my books, right? So I'm all caught up. Yay, everything checked out green, so I'm good to go. Um, yeah, so let's see here. You have to file your taxes to get the check. Yes, Antonio, am I saying that right? Antonio Turner, yes, you have to file taxes in order to get the check. Again, 2018, 2019 are the years. Um, let's see here. Are Uber, Lyft drivers, can they get unemployment? Yeah, yeah. That is a great question. Miss LPS, great question. And the reason is because if you are even self-employed, now again, I haven't read all the 854 paint, but I know that there is something in there that says even if you are self-employed, you can file for unemployment and get temporary relief. What that looks like, I honestly don't know. When I finish going through it and getting that information, I will let you know. So that would fall for those Uber and Lyft people who don't have regular W-2, and they're like Uber and Lyft, they don't file unemployment. They don't pay unemployment insurance for those who are working for them because they're treating those individuals like independent contractors, which kind of brings the whole California AB5 into light right now. Because if the Uber and Lyft drivers were treated as W-2 employees as outlined by the AB5, they would be entitled without question to unemployment insurance. But because they were treated as independent contractors, it's going to be a different type of scenario for those individuals to actually get unemployment insurance, even though they were working for a company and earning a wage per se. But very interesting to add the California AB5 may see new lights after all of this is said and done because of that. They may have some additional backing because of just that right there. Like, well, what happens in this scenario for people who are independent contractors, right? Who really don't, who their employer didn't pay unemployment insurance. So what happens to them? So we may see some new things from California AB5 coming to that. Um, so keep a lookout for that as well. Let's see here. Do you have to have direct deposit? The assumption is yes, but if not, then they will mail you a check. So I can say this, whether you have direct deposit or not, as long as your address is correct with what they have on file, you will receive it, whether it be direct deposit or check. Okay. So nothing much to really worry about there, man. And let's see here. Somebody sent us a link that has a Q&A for the stimulus package. I didn't see the link come up. Maybe links aren't allowed in chat. Hopefully they are. We'll see about that. But you know, the chatter fox, if you tried to send us a link, I appreciate it, but it didn't stimulate in the chat. So after this ends, I'm pretty sure it does something where you'd be able to leave a comment. So maybe you want to put the link in the comments and get some information to us. Again, I appreciate you sharing that resource with us. And yeah, man, if nothing else, it's about 6:55. So we've been on for approximately 56 minutes now. And if you guys have no other questions for me, I'll say we did good. We made it through another hour there. So according to the census here, it seems like this date and time every Friday, 6 p.m. for now, seems to be a good time. So we'll plan to do it again next Friday. But what I want to say, I'm gonna leave on this here. So I know you guys are asking me questions and we're having some great conversation. And I appreciate it. But when we next time, I want to kind of focus a little bit on something as we think about our businesses and what we're going to do. I've been hearing a lot of interesting conversations around the topic of pricing and how you price your products, how do you price your service, how do we research our product, how do we know what the market would bear. So in our next conversation next Friday, I want y'all to kind of think about that and let's have that discussion. Like, how are you pricing your products and services? There's so many ways to do it. There's so many models and business models which govern the way we price. But which way do you do it? Are your customers responding to it? Is there the way to do it where you can increase sales? Right? Or is the way that you're doing an old school model and it's restricting your sales and you're not getting enough? Are you using the old cost plus basis, as some people call it? Or are you using the new value plus style of pricing? So kind of think about that. I guess I'm giving you guys some homework for this week. So when we meet up again next Friday, that's what we'll talk about. Again, my family, man, I appreciate y'all being here, spending your time with your favorite uncle cousin. Um, Enjoy yourselves, man. Keep yourselves hydrated, drink plenty water, get plenty rest. Try not to lose your mind as you sit in the house, especially for those of us with kids, man. If you sit in the house, when your kids get bored, they drive you crazy. Trust me, I'm raising my hand. I'm witnessing that. Love my kids, but man, when platform, oh, that's a crazy movie. If you have a weak stomach, don't watch the platform. But I like what the plot. I like what it says. You know, if everybody just took enough, it would be enough to go around. It kind of talks about how greed and works like that. But it's called a platform. But again, if you won't have a strong stomach, don't watch the platform. But again, man, I appreciate everybody being here. Much love to you. If you're new to the channel, please feel free to subscribe as we're gonna do things more. Got some new videos coming your way. I think I'm gonna redo the California AB5 #2 because, like I said, AB5 is still gaining a lot of attention, especially now. So I'm gonna go do part 2 and part 3 of that. That video will be coming to you, and then soon after that, some more. So subscribe to the channel if you haven't, so you can make sure you get these updates, fam. And if you have any questions, as always, you know how to reach me. I'll make sure that I put. I wonder if this will hold on for a second. Let me see if I can put a link in the chat and see what will happen. If that will show there. I'm gonna try to put this here. Oh, I guess I was able to put a link in the chat. So I would say for uh who was that? The chatter fox, man. Try to put that link in there again and see if you can forward that resource to us. But the link that I just entered into the chat is for any of you who may need to file taxes, get caught up on anything. I'll put a link in there for you to go check it out. So maybe if you need your uncle, cousin help, I'd be more than happy to do so to help you get that achieved, help you get that done, no matter where you are. If you are here in California or if you are in New York on the East Coast, I can help you. We got ways to get connected and we can get that done. So again, I appreciate you being here. I love you guys. Stay safe, stay home, stay healthy. So I can see you again next Friday at 6 p.m. Much love to y'all and have a great day.